Earth's retaliation was so brutal, the galaxy went silent. HFY. They hung in the sky like dark, menacing clouds. Some glowed faintly, as if powered by some strange energy, and the silence they brought made even the birds stop singing. Among the crowd, a man named Ethan Miller stood in his backyard, staring up at the largest ship. Ethan was a mechanic, a simple man who worked on cars in a small garage in Ohio. He was not a soldier, not a politician, not a scientist, but he had a strong heart and a sharp mind. Today, he felt that heart tighten with fear and anger. Beside him was Clara James, his neighbor and old friend. Clara was a nurse at the local hospital. She had seen suffering before, but this was different. There was something in the shape and size of the ships, in the silence that hung around them, that told her this was not going to be a simple visit. "They're huge," Clara whispered. Her voice trembled. "Why are they here?" Ethan did not answer. He could not. The question itself felt dangerous. He clenched his fists, feeling a cold sweat on his forehead. "We'll find out soon," he finally said. Across the country, in a government control room deep underground, Daniel Carter watched the screens. Daniel was a strategist, quiet but sharp. He had spent his life planning wars, but nothing in all his years had prepared him for this. The ships had appeared without warning, without any attempt at communication. His fingers hovered over the console, unsure of what to do first. "Sir," a young officer said nervously, "they're not responding to hails. Our signals are being blocked." Daniel frowned. "Block all satellite communications," he ordered. "Get our scientists on this. If they are here to attack, we need to know everything before it's too late." Meanwhile, on the streets, chaos began to grow. People tried to flee, tried to hide, but no one knew what they were fleeing from. The ships did not fire. They did not move. They just hung there, immense and silent. Yet the fear they inspired was enough to make panic spread like wildfire. In New York, Samantha Green, a young journalist, captured the moment on her camera. She had come to cover a routine city story, but now the story had changed. Her heart raced as she filmed the massive vessels above the skyline. People screamed around her, some praying, some running blindly. She spoke into her camera. "This is unlike anything I've ever seen. The entire city is in panic. We do not know their intentions." Samantha noticed a group of children huddled in a corner, holding onto each other. She ran to them. "It's going to be okay," she said, though even she did not believe it. The children's eyes were wide with fear. Back in Ohio, Ethan and Clara heard a low hum in the air. It was faint, almost imperceptible, but it was there. The grass seemed to tremble under their feet. Clara clutched Ethan's arm. "Do you feel that?" she asked. Ethan nodded. "Yeah, whatever this is, it's not natural." Then the first attack came. It was not the kind of attack people expected. There were no explosions, no missiles, no weapons that humans could immediately recognize. Instead, the air itself seemed to vibrate, and electronic devices everywhere went dead. Cars stalled on highways. Airplanes dropped from the sky as if someone had cut invisible strings. The world plunged into chaos in a matter of minutes. In the underground control room, Daniel Carter's team scrambled. "Report," he shouted. "What is happening?" The screens flickered and went dark. The hum filled the room. Daniel's heart raced. He realized that the aliens had power over technology itself. "They're controlling our machines," he muttered, disbelief in his voice. Across the globe, governments tried to respond, but the ships blocked all communications. Military units could not coordinate. Fighter jets could not take off. Missiles would not launch. The humans realized slowly that these creatures had power far beyond their understanding. Yet amid the fear, a small spark of resistance began to form. In a small town in Kansas, Logan Price, a farmer, watched as his tractor stopped in the middle of a field. He did not panic. Instead, he ran to his barn and grabbed old tools, old weapons from storage. "If they want to fight, they'll get one," he said. In Ohio, Ethan felt the same fire rise inside him. He looked at Clara. "We can't just stand here. We have to do something. Even if it's small, we fight back." Clara nodded, fear and determination mingling in her eyes. "I'm with you," she said. Over the next hours, news came from around the world. Entire cities were going dark. Communication was gone. Airplanes fell from the sky. Yet in the midst of this, human courage began to show. People helped each other. Strangers formed groups for protection. Doctors worked in hospitals without electricity, using candles and hand tools. Soldiers adapted, fighting without high-tech weapons, relying on instinct and skill. The aliens made no effort to communicate, no attempt to explain. They simply observed. They struck without warning, and yet in every strike, humans found ways to survive. In Washington, D.C., President Laura Bennett addressed the nation. She spoke calmly, her voice steady despite the chaos outside. "We do not know why these aliens are here," she said. "We do not know what they want, but we know one thing: we will not bow, we will not surrender. We are human. We will fight and we will survive." Her words were simple, but they carried a weight that stirred the hearts of millions. People across the country listened, and somewhere inside them a quiet determination grew. In the skies over America, the alien ships hovered. They were vast and silent, and their presence was terrifying. But the humans below were already moving, organizing, planning. Makeshift militias formed in towns. Scientists worked around the clock to understand the aliens' technology. Farmers, mechanics, engineers, and doctors all contributed. The humans used their minds and hands, their courage and willpower, to find a way to fight back. Ethan and Clara joined a group of volunteers in their town. They used old trucks and radios they had managed to protect from the alien interference. Logan Price, the farmer from Kansas, sent messages that were physically carried by small planes to other towns. Small human ingenuity began to connect people across the country. Meanwhile, the aliens continued to watch. They did not speak. They did not attack directly. They observed humans in their panic, their fear, and their resistance. And slowly the first realization began to form among the aliens. These creatures were unlike anything they had seen. Humans did not flee. Humans did not break. Humans adapted. In the night, under the glow of the massive alien ships, Ethan and Clara huddled in an abandoned barn with others from their town. They planned, not knowing exactly what to do, but knowing they had to do something. "We have to hit them where it hurts," Ethan said quietly. "We may not have their technology, but we have something else. We have numbers, we have creativity, we have will," Clara nodded. "And we have each other. We'll figure this out one step at a time." Outside, the alien ships remained silent, watching, waiting. They did not realize that this silence, this observation, was about to awaken something they had never encountered before: the relentless, unstoppable spirit of humanity. As the first day ended, the world had changed forever. Earth was under threat, and the galaxy was watching. The humans had no idea what the aliens wanted, or if they would survive. But one thing was certain: the humans were not going to surrender quietly. And somewhere deep in the alien ranks, a new calculation began. A calculation that underestimated the most dangerous force in the galaxy: the human heart. The morning after the alien ships arrived, the world was quiet in a way it had never been before. Cities were dark, highways empty, and the hum of the aliens still filled the air. People were scared, but they were also awake in a new way. The fear had not broken them, it had sharpened them. Ethan Miller woke before dawn. He rubbed his eyes and looked around the barn where he and Clara had slept. Others were already stirring, whispering plans, testing old radios, checking tools. Ethan's stomach twisted, but not from fear. It was from determination. Today they would do something. Clara handed him a map she had drawn from memory of their town and nearby roads. "If we move quickly, we can get supplies to the other groups," she said. "We need to coordinate." Ethan nodded. "We can't fight them directly yet. We don't have the weapons. But we can prepare and we can help others survive. That's our first step. In Kansas, Logan Price and his group were doing the same. They had taken over an old farm and turned it into a small command center. Farmers, mechanics, and retired soldiers worked side by side. They were making homemade radios, repairing old trucks, and preparing basic weapons. Their goal was simple: survive, communicate, and organize. Meanwhile, in Washington, President Laura Bennett had gathered a small team of top scientists and military leaders. She spoke clearly, calmly, and with purpose. "We do not have their technology," she said, "but we have something no alien can control: our minds and our will. We will study them, we will understand them, and we will respond. We will not be weak. We will fight back in our own way." The first organized human response began in the early hours of the second day. Teams of scientists and engineers, led by Daniel Carter, had discovered that the aliens' ships had certain weak points in their energy fields. These points were small and difficult to reach, but they existed. Using old satellites, analog radios, and simple sensors, they began to map the ship's energy patterns. Ethan, Clara, and a small group from Ohio had prepared as well. They had gathered fuel, old rifles, radios, and tools that could be used for sabotage. They also had something else, a human sense of courage that the aliens did not understand. "Are we ready?" Clara asked, gripping a small rifle. Ethan looked at her. He saw the fear, yes, but also the determination. "We are," he said. "Today we take the first step. Today we show them humans are not easy to scare." The first strike was not a battle of ships. It was a battle of brains and courage. Humans had begun to understand that the aliens could control their machines, but not their minds or hands. They used this to their advantage. Small, coordinated efforts began to disrupt alien surveillance equipment. Old power lines were rerouted. Smoke bombs were made with simple chemicals. Humans learned to fight invisibly, without the aliens noticing at first. In Ohio, Ethan's team moved under cover of darkness. They approached an abandoned warehouse that had been under alien observation. Inside, they found equipment that had been damaged by the aliens' energy waves but could be repurposed. Ethan worked with Clara and the others to fix the equipment, using ingenuity and basic tools. "Will it work?" one of the volunteers asked nervously. Ethan smiled faintly. "It has to. We have no choice." By nightfall, small human teams across the country were carrying out similar operations. They were gathering information, creating traps, and preparing for the day when they could strike the alien ships directly. The humans were silent, careful, and coordinated. They had no advanced weapons, no super technology, but they had something that no alien could calculate: human creativity and courage. In New York, Samantha Green was reporting what she could safely observe. "Humans are starting to organize," she said into her camera. "It's quiet but purposeful. People are working together in towns, in cities. They are communicating in ways the aliens cannot stop. It's inspiring." Daniel Carter in Washington monitored reports from across the country. He was amazed. In a world with alien control over technology, humans were finding ways to communicate using old radios, hand signals, and even physical runners. "They are adapting faster than we expected," he said to the president. President Bennett nodded. "They are human," she said. "They survive because they refuse to surrender." Meanwhile, the aliens observed. They had expected fear, chaos, and surrender. What they did not expect was resistance. Humans were small, weak, and fragile compared to their vast ships, yet they acted with purpose. Every small action, an improvised weapon, a clever communication method, a sabotage of alien devices, was a puzzle they could not understand. Back in Ohio, Ethan's team prepared a trap. Using a combination of old explosives and modified equipment from the warehouse, they planned to create a controlled disruption near the edge of one alien ship's observation zone. The goal was not to destroy the ship, it would be impossible, but to show that humans could fight back. "Remember," Ethan said, gathering the team, "this is not just about damage. This is about proving that we will not bow, we will not surrender. Even a small act of resistance can change everything." As they moved into position, the air vibrated with the hum of alien energy. The ship hovered silently above, massive and imposing, but Ethan felt no fear now, only focus, only determination. Clara checked the improvised explosives one last time. "Ready?" she asked. Ethan nodded. "Now." The disruption was small but effective. A part of the ship's outer energy field flickered, a pulse that lasted only a few seconds. It was almost imperceptible, but the humans cheered quietly among themselves. For the first time, they had made the aliens react, even in the smallest way. Across the globe, similar actions were taking place. In Kansas, Logan Price's group had disrupted alien surveillance equipment near a power grid. In California, a small team of engineers had rerouted communications to create a temporary blind spot in the alien observation network. For the aliens, it was confusing. Their vast intelligence could calculate probabilities, predict outcomes, and control machines. But they could not predict the determination, creativity, and unpredictability of humans. Each small action caused the aliens to pause, to recalculate, to wonder what these creatures would do next. As night fell, humans returned to their hiding places, exhausted but elated. They had taken the first step in their fight. They had shown that even against an enemy vastly more powerful, they could act with courage, with ingenuity, and with will. Ethan and Clara sat by a small fire in the barn. "We did it," Clara said softly. Ethan shook his head. "This is just the beginning. They will react. They will strike back, but we've shown them we are not easy prey," Clara nodded. "And that gives everyone hope." President Bennett addressed the nation again. Her voice was calm but filled with pride. "Today, humans showed the galaxy what it means to be human. We are strong not because of our technology, but because of our courage, our creativity, and our unity. We will continue to resist. We will continue to fight. And we will survive." In the skies, the alien ships continued to hover, massive and silent. But something had changed. They had underestimated the humans. They had expected fear, chaos, and surrender. Instead, they found resistance, ingenuity, and courage beyond their calculations. Somewhere deep in the command centers of the aliens, new strategies were being discussed. But the humans would not wait. Across the globe, ordinary men and women, farmers, engineers, nurses, journalists, continued to prepare, to plan, to fight. Ethan and Clara looked out at the dark sky, the hum of the alien ship above still vibrating through the air. "Tomorrow," Ethan said, "we take the next step. We fight back even harder." Clara smiled. "We are ready." And as the night deepened, humans across the world lay awake, thinking, planning, and preparing. They were ordinary people, yes, but they had discovered something extraordinary. When faced with impossible odds, humanity did not break. Humanity fought. And in that fight, they became something more than themselves. The first strike was small, but it was a spark. And sparks could ignite fires that no alien intelligence could predict. The third day of the alien occupation of Earth began with a strange calm. The hum of the ships was constant, a reminder of the vast power hovering over every city, every town, every field. Yet for the first time, humans were not paralyzed with fear. They were moving, planning, and resisting. In Ohio, Ethan Miller and Clara James gathered their small group in the barn once again. Their first disruption had worked, and reports had come in from across the country. Small victories were spreading like fire. Humans were learning, adapting, and connecting. "We have to expand," Ethan said, pointing at a map. "We can't just fight in our town. We need to connect with others, share knowledge, coordinate." Clara nodded. "I can help. I know some people in other towns. We can create a network." The humans had begun to discover a key weakness in the alien ships. While their energy fields were almost impenetrable, they were not invincible. Small disruptions in one place could ripple across their systems, causing temporary blind spots or confusion. Humans had no heavy weapons, but they had cleverness, patience, and courage. Meanwhile, in Kansas, Logan Price's group had set up a network of scouts. Farmers, engineers, and retired soldiers moved quietly at night, mapping alien patrols and energy patterns. They had learned to avoid the direct beams of alien energy, using natural terrain for cover. Each night, they returned with information that would help humanity fight back. In New York, Samantha Green continued her reporting. She filmed the quiet heroism of humans, people sharing food and water, helping the injured and protecting children. Her words, simple but truthful, spread across the remaining communication channels. Humans are fighting back in small ways, she reported. They are showing courage that no alien machine can destroy, and in that courage, there is hope. Daniel Carter and his team in Washington worked tirelessly. They were combining human ingenuity with every tool they had left. They designed small, portable devices that could interfere with alien sensors, using analog circuits, magnets, and improvised components. Every small victory gave them confidence. Every small victory gave them momentum. The aliens, meanwhile, observed. They had expected humans to panic, to collapse under fear. They had underestimated the resilience and creativity of the species. They began to adjust their strategy, but their calculations were slow. They were logical, precise, and powerful, but human unpredictability frustrated them. One night, Ethan's team prepared a larger strike. This time, they were not only going to create a disruption, they were going to rescue people trapped in a nearby town where alien surveillance had cut off all communications. Clara checked the small radios they had repaired. "All lines clear?" she asked. Ethan nodded. "Yes." "We move at dawn, quietly, carefully. Everyone stays together. Remember, the goal is survival first, disruption second." The journey was dangerous. Alien drones patrolled the skies, scanning for movement. Ethan, Clara, and their team moved through forests and fields, avoiding roads, hiding under shadows, and signaling each other with hand signs. Hours passed in tense silence, broken only by the soft rustling of leaves and the distant hum of the ships above. Finally, they reached the edge of the town. Buildings were dark and abandoned, but faint cries told them they were not alone. Using makeshift tools, they disabled a small alien sensor and slipped into the town. Inside, the trapped people were scared but unharmed. They had been hiding in basements, waiting for rescue. Ethan's team led them quietly through back alleys and underground passages, avoiding alien patrols. When they reached a safe location outside the town, Clara helped the children down from a makeshift ladder. "You're safe now," she whispered. "We're getting you out." As the humans moved, the aliens above began to notice minor disruptions. Their energy fields flickered briefly over the town, but they did not act immediately. They did not understand the human mind, the human courage that moved quietly, carefully, and persistently. Across the country, other human teams were taking similar actions. Supplies were being delivered to trapped communities. Messages and information were being exchanged using old radios, runners, and coded signals. Humans were connecting, forming a network that the aliens could not fully observe or control. In Washington, Daniel Carter monitored the growing network. "They're becoming organized," he said. "Smaller groups are coordinating with each other. They're using old technology in clever ways. They're learning fast." President Laura Bennett nodded. "They are human," she said. "They adapt. They survive. And now they are starting to fight back in ways even we cannot predict." The first true confrontation began when an alien patrol ship descended near a small town in Montana. A team of volunteers, led by Aaron Blake, had prepared a trap. They used a combination of explosives and improvised sensors to confuse the ship's targeting systems. The ship's energy field flickered. Its sensors misread signals. Aaron's team moved in, not to destroy, but to test the limits of alien reactions. The humans saw the first real proof. The aliens could be challenged, disrupted, and forced to retreat. Word of these victories spread quickly among humans. They were small, isolated successes, but they proved one thing: humans could fight back. Humans could survive. Humans could make the impossible possible. In Ohio, Ethan and Clara watched the news feed from a small radio. Reports came in from across the globe. Resistance cells in Europe, Asia, and South America had begun small strikes. Humanity was not alone in this fight. Everywhere, ordinary people were doing extraordinary things. Clara turned to Ethan. "Do you think they will understand soon?" she asked. Ethan shook his head. "They already think they understand, but they don't. Humans are not predictable. We fight differently. We survive differently, and that will be our strength." The aliens, vast and powerful, began to realize something important. These humans were not weak. They were clever, resilient, and courageous. Every attempt to crush them directly had failed. Every attack had been met with adaptation, with resistance, with more creativity. For the first time, the aliens paused. They observed, recalculated, and adjusted their strategies. But their logic was too rigid. They did not understand emotion, unpredictability, or determination. They had not accounted for human unity under pressure, nor the way humans could inspire each other to act courageously in the face of impossible odds. In Montana, Aaron Blake's team celebrated quietly. They had disrupted a patrol ship, saved civilians, and proved that even against impossible odds, humans could act decisively. They knew this was only the beginning. Ethan and Clara, back in Ohio, prepared for the next phase. They would need to connect with other resistance cells. They would need to coordinate strikes and plan defenses. The humans had learned something vital. Technology could be controlled, but willpower and courage could not. President Bennett addressed the nation again. "Humans are fighting back. They are small, but they are mighty. They are ordinary, but they are extraordinary. Every act of courage, every act of survival, every act of resistance is proof that the human spirit cannot be broken." In the skies, the alien ships continued to hover. They were vast, intimidating, and silent. But now they faced a new reality. Humans were not going to surrender. Humans were adapting. Humans were fighting. And each small victory was building into something larger, something the aliens had not anticipated. That night, Ethan and Clara sat under the stars outside the barn, looking at the sky. The hum of the alien ships was constant, a reminder of the challenge ahead. But they were no longer afraid. They were ready. Clara smiled. "We've done more than survive. We've started to fight back." Ethan nodded. "And tomorrow we fight harder. Every day we get stronger. They will learn what it means to face humans. They will learn that we do not give up. We do not surrender, and we do not break." The night was quiet, but the humans were awake with purpose. Across the world, ordinary people were doing extraordinary things. They were engineers, farmers, nurses, journalists, and mechanics. They were humans. And in that truth, they held a power the aliens could not calculate, could not predict, and could not control. The first confrontations had begun. The first victories had been won. And humanity was rising step by step toward something the galaxy had never seen. A species that refused to surrender, a species that fought with courage, ingenuity, and relentless determination. The alien ships had come to conquer, to observe, and to dominate. But they had underestimated one thing: Earth's humans. The humans were small, fragile, and unpredictable, and that unpredictability would become their greatest weapon. The fourth day of the alien occupation began with tension, but also with hope. Humans had learned much in the previous days. They had learned how to avoid alien sensors, how to communicate without electronics, and how to act quietly yet decisively. Ethan Miller and Clara James were up before dawn. Their small town had become a hub for coordination. Makeshift radios connected them to other towns, and runners carried messages to places where even radios could not reach. Humans were learning to fight not with raw power, but with cleverness and teamwork. "We have reports from Logan's team in Kansas," Ethan said, pointing to a map. "They've found a blind spot near one of the larger alien ships. It's small, but it could be used for a strike." Clara's eyes widened. "A strike? You mean directly against the ships?" Ethan nodded. "Yes, we won't destroy them. Not yet. But we can make them notice us, force them to react, show them that humans are not helpless." Across the country, other teams were preparing similar missions. Humans were organizing like never before. Farmers, mechanics, nurses, and engineers were all working together. Even children were involved, carrying messages or watching for patrols. It was a fight of courage, cleverness, and unity. In Washington, President Laura Bennett addressed the nation. "We have learned much about our enemy," she said. "They are powerful, yes, but they are not invincible. Every human action matters. Every human act of resistance matters. And together, we will show the galaxy what it means to face Earth's humans." Daniel Carter and his team worked tirelessly to provide strategies and coordinate attacks. Using simple technology combined with ingenuity, they planned a series of small, coordinated strikes designed to confuse and disrupt the aliens. They had learned to exploit patterns in the ship's energy fields, turning weaknesses into opportunities. Ethan's team moved into position near the blind spot Logan had discovered. The area was dangerous. Alien patrols moved slowly but constantly. Humans had to remain quiet, hidden, and patient. Clara adjusted a small device that interfered with alien sensors. "This will give us a few minutes," she whispered. "We need to make them count." Ethan nodded. "We move fast, we work together, and we retreat safely. Remember, the goal is disruption, not destruction." The strike began at dawn. Ethan, Clara, and their team moved quickly and silently. Using the blind spot, they placed small devices designed to confuse alien sensors. The devices emitted pulses that caused temporary malfunctions. Above, the alien ship's energy field flickered. Its sensors misread signals, scanning empty fields while the humans moved freely. For the first time, the aliens were forced to react to human actions instead of controlling them completely. Ethan and Clara watched the effect. "It's working," Ethan said quietly. "They're noticing us." Meanwhile, in Kansas, Logan Price's team executed a simultaneous strike. They disrupted a communications relay, creating confusion among the alien patrols. Across the world, small teams in Europe, Asia, and South America carried out similar attacks. Humans had found a way to act collectively, to challenge the alien control without engaging in direct combat. The alien response was immediate. Drones swarmed the areas affected by the strikes. Energy beams scanned the fields looking for movement. But the humans were ready. Using shadows, natural cover, and old tricks learned over centuries of survival, they avoided detection. Samantha Green reported from New York. "Humans are striking back in small but significant ways," she said. "They are forcing the aliens to react. For the first time, the humans are not hiding, are acting. And everywhere, people are showing courage beyond imagination." In Ohio, Ethan's team returned safely from their mission. They had not destroyed the alien ship, but they had forced it to divert attention and resources. It was a small victory, but a powerful one. Clara smiled as she unpacked their supplies. "We're making a difference," she said. "Even if it's small, it counts." Ethan nodded. "It counts more than they realize. Every disruption, every challenge, they have to react. And every reaction shows they are not invincible." Across the globe, humans continued their attacks. Simple devices, clever tactics, and coordinated strikes created chaos for the aliens. Patrols were delayed, sensors misread, and ships flickered as their energy fields adjusted to human interference. The aliens began to understand something they had not calculated. Humans were unpredictable, creative, and relentless. Their logic and power were great, but they could not anticipate the courage and adaptability of millions of people acting together. In Montana, Aaron Blake led another strike. Using improvised explosives and sensors, his team disrupted a patrol drone, causing it to crash harmlessly into a field. The humans cheered quietly, not for destruction but for survival and success. They had challenged the aliens and won in a small way. Daniel Carter monitored these actions from Washington. Humans are learning quickly, he said. They're coordinating attacks across continents. They're adapting faster than the aliens can respond. This is remarkable. President Bennett nodded. That is the spirit that defines us, she said. We fight not because we are strong, but because we are determined. We fight not because we have advanced weapons, but because we have courage, creativity, and will. In Ohio, Ethan and Clara prepared for the next phase. They would connect more towns, share knowledge, and expand the network. Humans had learned to fight not just physically, but with intelligence, creativity, and determination. That night, humans across the world celebrated quietly, not with fireworks or loud cheers, but with a sense of pride. They had acted and they had succeeded. They had shown that even against a superior enemy, humans could survive and fight. The alien ships continued to hover, massive and silent, but their calculations were beginning to fail. They had underestimated humans. They had underestimated the courage, the ingenuity, and the determination of an entire species acting together. Ethan and Clara looked at the stars above. Tomorrow, Ethan said, we strike again. We will force them to see us, to respect us. We will not stop, Clara nodded. And every strike will make us stronger. Every small victory will give hope to more people. The night was quiet, but humans were awake with purpose. Across towns, villages, and cities, ordinary people were doing extraordinary things. They were resisting. They were fighting. They were proving that humanity could never be controlled, never be broken. President Bennett's voice echoed across emergency broadcasts. Earth's humans are showing the galaxy what it means to fight with courage. Every action matters. Every life matters. And together, we will continue to resist, to survive, and to reclaim our world. The alien ships had come to observe, to conquer, and to dominate. But they had underestimated one thing: the human spirit. And that spirit, small as it may seem, was about to grow into a force no alien intelligence could fully understand. Humans had taken the first real step in turning fear into strength, chaos into strategy, and survival into a battle for the galaxy's respect. The war had just begun, but the message was clear. Earth's humans would not bow. They would not surrender. And the galaxy would soon learn that Earth was not weak. Earth was strong, determined, and unstoppable. And in the silence of the night, under the glow of the massive alien ships, humans planned their next moves. Every small victory had led to this. Every act of courage had built momentum. And the aliens, despite all their power, were facing a truth they could not calculate. The heart of humanity was the most dangerous weapon in the galaxy. The fifth day dawned with tension and hope. Humans had learned much about their alien visitors. They had learned to communicate without electronics, to move quietly, and to strike cleverly. They had discovered weak points in the alien ships, energy fields, and learned to exploit them. Now it was time for a larger, coordinated action. Ethan Miller and Clara James gathered their team early. Today, we do more than survive, Ethan said. We make them notice us. We show them humans are not prey. We show them that Earth will fight back. Clara checked the small radios and devices they had prepared. We have communication lines to Ohio, Kansas, Montana, and New York, she said. Every group is ready. Across the country, humans were mobilizing. Farmers, mechanics, engineers, and volunteers from small towns to large cities were ready. Even children and elderly people had roles. delivering messages, watching skies, and helping to carry supplies. Every human contribution mattered. In Washington, President Laura Bennett addressed the nation. "Earth's humans are united," she said. "We are not weak. We are not fragile. Today we fight together as one species. We will not surrender. We will strike back with courage, with willpower, and with our greatest weapon, our unity." Daniel Carter and his team had prepared a final plan. Using all the information gathered from previous strikes, they had identified the largest ship's key vulnerabilities. They were small and hard to reach, but if targeted simultaneously by multiple teams, the effect could be devastating. Ethan's group moved first. Using the blind spot near one of the largest ships, they placed devices designed to disrupt the alien energy field. The devices emitted pulses that made the ship's outer shields flicker. Ethan's heart raced. "This is it," he whispered. "They will feel this." Clara checked the devices one last time. "Everyone ready?" she asked. The humans nodded. "Move," Ethan said. Simultaneously, teams in Kansas, Montana, and New York struck. Using the knowledge of alien patrol patterns, they moved quietly, placing small but powerful devices. The ship's energy fields shimmered and flickered, and for the first time, alien sensors misread human positions. The largest ship above the Atlantic began to react. Its energy field pulsed violently, trying to compensate. Alien drones swarmed, but the humans had planned for this. They used terrain, shadows, and natural cover to evade detection. Aaron Blake's team in Montana had set a trap for a patrol drone. When it approached, the drone was disrupted and crashed harmlessly. The team cheered quietly. Each small victory contributed to the larger plan. President Bennett watched the progress from Washington. "Humans are striking with courage and unity," she said. "This is the power of our species. We are small, but we are mighty. We are ordinary, but we are extraordinary." In Ohio, Ethan and Clara watched the alien ship above flicker as their devices worked. They had not destroyed it, but they had forced it to respond. The alien calculations were failing. Every strike created confusion, forcing the ships to react instead of control. Then, the signal came from Daniel Carter. "All teams report success. Energy disruptions are spreading." "We've created a chain reaction." Clara's eyes widened. "A chain reaction," Daniel's voice came through the radio. "Yes, the devices are small, but they are linked. Each disruption triggers the next. Soon, their largest ship will lose stability." Ethan clenched his fists. "This is it. The retaliation begins." Across the globe, humans continued to strike. The small devices, combined with clever tactics, created a massive cascade of failures in the alien ships. Lights flickered, sensors went blind, and energy fields wavered. The aliens had not anticipated this level of coordination, courage, and creativity. Above the Atlantic, the largest ship began to falter. Energy flares shot across its surface. Alien patrols moved frantically to stabilize it, but it was too late. The human strikes had created a cascading failure. In New York, Samantha Green reported with a trembling voice. "For the first time, we see the aliens faltering. Their largest ship is unstable. Humans have done what no one thought possible. They have fought back and made the aliens react." Ethan and Clara, along with their team, watched in awe as the ship's energy flared and then began to collapse. "We did it," Clara whispered. "We made them lose control." The alien fleet above Earth began to falter. Smaller ships, reacting to the instability of the largest vessel, lost formation. Drones crashed. Energy fields wavered. The aliens realized too late that humans were more than they had expected. Daniel Carter spoke in the command center. "They underestimated us. They thought fear would control us, but we are human. We fight with courage, ingenuity, and unity, and now they are paying the price." President Bennett addressed the world. "Today, humans have shown the galaxy our strength. Not through advanced technology, but through courage, creativity, and determination. We have defended our planet and we have sent a clear message. Earth does not surrender. Earth fights back. The final moments of the alien retaliation unfolded quickly. The largest ship, unable to stabilize, began to break apart. Smaller ships, confused and destabilized, fled or fell. Human teams, watching from safe distances, cheered quietly. They had survived, resisted, and struck back. Ethan and Clara stood in the barn, looking up at the sky where the remaining ships retreated. "It's over," Ethan said softly. Clara shook her head, smiling. "It's never over," she said. "But today we won. Today humans proved something important. We can fight. We can survive. And we can win." Around the globe, humans celebrated cautiously. Cities lit up, fires burned in fields, and people hugged each other. It was a victory, but also a lesson. Humans had survived an impossible enemy and had grown stronger because of it. Aaron Blake's team in Montana, Logan Price in Kansas, and countless other volunteers across the world were heroes not because they had advanced weapons, but because they had courage, willpower, and determination. Every act of bravery had contributed to the ultimate retaliation. Samantha Green reported for the last time in the chaos of celebration. "Humans have done the impossible. They have defended their planet and sent a message to the galaxy. Earth's humans will not be controlled, and they will not be conquered. Their courage and ingenuity have made the impossible possible." In Washington, President Bennett stood with Daniel Carter and the military leaders. "The galaxy will remember today," she said. "Humans are no longer just survivors. We are fighters. We are creators. We are unstoppable when united." Ethan and Clara walked through their town, seeing neighbors helping each other rebuild, clearing debris, and sharing food. The alien ships were gone, but their presence had changed humanity forever. People were stronger, braver, and more united than ever before. That night under the stars, Ethan looked up at the sky. "We showed them what it means to face humans," he said. "They will never forget it," Clara nodded. "And neither will we. We survived, we fought, and we won." That is what it means to be human. Across the world, humanity slept cautiously, knowing the galaxy was watching. But for the first time, they slept with pride, courage, and hope. Earth had been threatened by a powerful enemy, and Earth had struck back. Humans had proven that no matter how small, how fragile, or how ordinary they might seem, their courage, creativity, and unity made them a force the galaxy could never ignore. The hum of the alien ships was gone. The silence that had caused fear was replaced by a quiet strength. Humans had survived, humans had fought, humans had won, and the galaxy went silent not in fear but in awe. Earth's retaliation had been brutal. Humanity had shown its strength, ingenuity, and courage, and now the stars would never see humans the same way again. The human heart had triumphed, and nothing in the galaxy would ever forget it.